Story. I tore their throats. A faint howl is heard. You got wolves here? Kaiser, a bell-shaped man with long strands of white hair and stout arms, said as he sat across from me in the armchair. A tiny gold crucifix pinned to his ear. He looked like he had not slept in a year. His shirt had a stake hole burnt through on the back of his left shoulder. No, they sound similar, but they are not wolves. They don't have a pack mentality, I said. I looked at Kaiser. His puffy eyes watched me. I sank the last of my pint and took the empty glass to the bar. Another Guinness, Kay? The barkeep said. And a JD, thanks. I took my wallet out of my trousers and pulled out a tenner. Like the chain on the wallet, mate? I turned to see a volcano-faced tweaker leaning on the bar next to me. He looked like every other tweaker in this place, thin glazed eyes, and he stank. Go on, get me one, he said. Nah, get your own. I slid the wallet back in my trouser pocket. Tweaker stared at my eyes like he wanted to eat them. I should have thought that was weird then, but I just went back to my table. Thinking about it now, Tweaker watched me go sit down. He grinned, exposing his front teeth. Clean. That was a bit weird because the rest of him looked like he showered in the sewer. After a few more pints and 6 whiskeys, I grabbed my coat off the chair. Oi, you should have bought me that beer. Tweaker stood in front of me. He put his pint on the table. Get lost, pal. I won't tell you again. I put my coat on, straightening my collar. Urgh. Tweaker bared his teeth. His hand shot out and grabbed my throat, yanking me to him. Sink. The teeth pierced my cheek. Get off me. I shoved him off. Touching my face, he'd drawn blood. I grabbed his flimsy t-shirt with both hands. You bite me? You bite me, silly twat. I sunk my teeth on his nose. Bite. I ripped a chunk off and spat it out. That's what you call a bite where I'm from, dickhead. I shoved him again. He hit the floor holding his nose. His blood tasted like someone had shat in it. I slid the wallet back in my trouser pocket. He was beaten, but it was weird. His eyes looked at me as if he felt sorry for me. The bouncers came running over and grabbed him. You all right, Kay? The big one said. Get me a Guinness to wash this idiot out of my mouth. I'm going to have to get a tetanus shot now. God knows what else. I left the bar and went to the takeaway next door. I bought a couple of burgers and chips for my kids and a kebab for myself. My missus, Jenny, never wanted anything, so I stopped asking. My mutt Scrawny came over the second I opened the front door. He could smell the sausage I got him. I gave it him, and he went back to his spot at the back door. Come down and get your burgers, I shouted from the bottom of the stairs. Jenny came to the top of the stairs. Got some burgers for them, love. What you playing at? They're asleep. Eat it yourself. She carried on, something about money and getting pissed. Not sure, really, as I stopped listening, only her talking didn't stop. She just went on and on and on, like that old advert. Why don't you just fucking listen to me for once instead of giving me shit? I said. Kaiser looked at the flames dancing in the fireplace. I don't remember anything after that. Kaiser turned to me, my eyes still on him. The black mist coiled in through the entrance, its tentacles reaching out and searching its way into the lounge. It filled up round the edges, slowly wafting and building, becoming denser. What's that? Kaiser said. It wants to listen to your story, I said. Oh, it wants to listen to how I messed up, does it? I nodded. Kaiser shook his head. Anyway, I got up the next morning, curled up at the back door where Scrawny sleeps. I was covered in red stuff. Ugh. Shit. I thought I had shit myself, but the stuff was red. It was on the floor, spreading all the way to the kitchen. I spotted Scrawny near the stairs. Scrawny, here, boy. He didn't get up. I got up slowly. I was naked. My hands were covered in red stuff. I went to Scrawny. Oh, God. Oh, no. Scrawny. His leg was lying there on its own, soggy. There was no body. Kids. I ran upstairs to my kids' room. There was no red stuff on the stairs. I thought my heart was going to burst out of my chest. Both their rooms were empty, thank God. Joel? Emma? No answer. I went to my room. Jenny? I just stopped. It's like I shut down or something. Joel was lying on the bed like a doll. His body was shredded. My wee lad was just 7. Man, I found Jenny's head next to the window. It was just lying there next to a patch of red stuff. Emma, my 18-month-old, was never found. A tear left Kaiser's left eye and slid down his cheek. He ignored it. The police came and arrested me. Then, they released me. The tweaker who bit me in the pub was found in my front garden next to Jenny's body. He was dead. His clothes soaked in blood, but not a scratch on him. I told the police what happened at the pub. There were plenty of witnesses. The tweaker had a record of violence, so they put it on him. It wasn't like they thought I was innocent, but they didn't have enough on me. The room darkened. I directed my attention to the wooden floor. More black mist was entering, swallowing the light. It slid around the room, slowly growing denser and denser. His eyes darted left and right, racing with images of his family, sort of like a film reel running through his mind. That tweaker fucked me right up. He looked at me, eyes sizing me up. You're not going to ask about my wee Emma? Eyes still on me. I remained still in my armchair. Black mist solidified around Kaiser's legs. I shook my head slightly. The black mist receded, wafting back to the walls. Waiting. I can hear your heart racing. It's your story, so I suggest you calm down and tell it, I said. Well, if you want to know what it is, the reason they didn't find her is because I ate her. Would you believe that? I fucking ate my own 18-month-old daughter. Kaiser looked down at his knuckles, thin and flat like paws. A flash of amber hue shot at me from his ear. A tiny crucifix pinned there reflected the fire for an instant. I need some air, Kaiser said. Thud, 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 his heart almost popping out of his chest. I need air. Kaiser sprang forward, landing on his hands, torso stretching right there. His heart raced. Thump, 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 thump. I just get the urge. Know what I mean? Crack. Kaiser's spine extended, splitting his shirt. Hair shot out of his paws. Eyes turned to me. The pale blue pupils of the man were now the red slits of a supernatural beast. Fangs overshot his mouth as they lengthened. I can see how he can rip a throat with one snap. Claws dug into my wooden floor. Ears stretched, becoming pointy. The crucifix, still pinned to the left ear, shot another amber flash. The wolf turned towards me, leaning on its front paws. Fly. It was hurling at me, suddenly yanked back. The black mist had gripped its rear legs and grounded it. The wolf struggled, stretching to me. Snap, 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 snap. Its jaws worked. My right hand grabbed the wolf's throat. Snap, snap, snap. Its jaw slammed, rapidly trying to rip my face off. Front claws ripped at my thighs as I leaned down towards it. Slam. I thrust my left fist into the wolf's chest. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The wolf paused. Rip. I snatched the crucifix off its ear. The wolf whimpered, docile for a second. The mist receded. Dash. It leapt away. I shot after it as it entered the waiting room across the corridor. The room was forest, green and damp. Somewhere in North England, Kaiser was swift, already in the distance, sprinting away. I entered the room and touched the wall. It changed instantly into Kaiser's bedroom. The wolf ran into the room, halting immediately. I watched it look at the little boy on the bed. It shifted its gaze to Jenny's head on the carpet next to the window. The wolf froze. It regurgitated, twitching, tongue clicking, working the vomit. The wolf opened its mouth wider than its jaw will allow. Swoosh, a toddler slid out, blood-soaked and torn, flopping onto the carpet. I watched it look at the lifeless toddler. It gazed at the toddler for a while. It nudged it with its nose. Again. Again. The The toddler remained motionless. The wolf froze. It was as if the universe had stepped in and frozen the place. I watched in silence. A tear slipped out of the wolf's left eye. The howl resonated through the house. It was filled with such anguish that it pulled my attention to an old flame. The night I had to kill her. The room returned to its original state of an old Victorian waiting room with the wooden finish and musk of candle burning, cigar smoke, and whiskey. Kaiser stood there naked. I gestured to a robe on the leather bench under the large square window. Kaiser wiped his eyes on his arm as he put on the robe. He then used the sleeve of the robe to wipe his eyes again. I never got to see her, to see what I did to her. Kaiser shook his head. I'll never be able to forgive myself for that. No. He kept shaking his head as his eyes looked around the room, his mind processing the grief. Realizing what you've done is a start, I said. Kaiser swayed a little on the spot as if unsure what to do. What happens now? Come with me, I gestured to the corridor. Kaiser took a few steps towards me. Guess I deserve where I'm going. I looked at him for a second. I gave him a short nod and walked out the door. I led Kaiser straight along the corridor. We walked for a few minutes before I stopped at a door on the left. I opened it to reveal a forest woodland, very similar to the one in North England. Kaiser stopped. You are a wolf now. A wolf belongs with its pack. Take care of this one. I'll be here when you return, I said. I don't understand. I thought I'd be going downstairs. That is precisely why you are here. Being a wolf is just as hard as being a human. You can resolve yourself here amongst your pack. Thank you, Kaiser said. I touched my right hand to my heart and gave a gentle nod. Kaiser stepped across the threshold, immediately forming into a brown timber wolf. He ran up the mild incline to a few wolves waiting at the top. In seconds, they had all vanished beyond the brow. I closed the door. I walked back to my lounge. Kaiser brought back a memory I'd long forgotten. Keely. Perhaps she will come through one day. I guess we are all damaged in one way or another, especially those who visit number 17, my halfway house. I need to sit and think now. See you next Sunday at 11. Perhaps that guest might be more jovial. I doubt it. Godspeed.